Dear learners, welcome to NI Studio. In this session, we'll discuss about major social problems of India, Part 2. Earlier, we have discussed about major social problems of India, Part 1, in which we have discussed about the problem of illiteracy and the problem of population explosion. Here, we'll discuss about corruption and poverty as a social problems of India. So after going through this video, we'll be able to explain the concept of corruption, its form and causes, and also describe poverty and its causes and consequences. Let us understand the form of corruption, what is corruption, and then what are the causes of corruption and what are different forms of corruption. As you know, corruption is an act by someone who is ready to do dishonest and illegal things in return of money or for something else they want, or behave in a way what is considered morally wrong. If we talk about India's history, India had a cherished honesty, morality, and also high values from time immemorial. But with the passage of time and fast socio-economic changes in the country, corruption has affected all walks of life. If it is politics or society or culture or education, corruption has been visible in all walks of life. There are different forms of corruption. We'll discuss each one by one. Let us discuss what is social form of corruption. You will find the practice of nepotism, favoritism, dowry, dishonesty, immorality, etc. in the society. If you will ask your any elder member of your family, they will say that in past the society it is a complete good society and people are helping each other and there is a sense of merit, but with the changing socio-economic structure, the practice of nepotism, favoritism, dowry, dishonesty, immorality has prevailed in our society. Another form of corruption is administrative form of corruption. Here you will find payment of illegal gratification for getting work done in offices. People are also making money from misuse of office and power to contest election. And also another form of administrative form of corruption is utilizing criminals to win election, looting polling booths, giving tickets to criminals, etc. are political form of corruption. There is also another form, that is professional form of corruption. Here taking bribe and commission for getting the fund sanction, looting public money with the trader and also many contractors. You will find all these forms are professional form of corruption. Even people are, if they want to do a job, they also give money and other mechanism to have the job. So these are called professional form of corruption. Similarly, education corruption also there. If we talk about education, earlier education we thought it is a very pious form of institution where there is no such cases of corruption. But as the population explosion is there and there are more population, they want to get admission in school, in colleges and in professional institution. So now educational corruption is also visible in different sphere of educational institution. So these are admission and donation, free degree, diploma and certificate, mass copying, leak of question paper, bribing examiners, supply of answer material from outside, and all kinds of cheating are called educational corruption. So professional form of corruption is like smuggling, black marketing, hoarding, profiteering, food adulteration, production of duplicate items and spurious medicines. Similarly, corruption found in judiciary, medical institution and service commission, etc. are also professional form of corruption. Similarly, raising funds in the name of building religious centers, religious discourses, performing yajna and worship, but spending otherwise are also professional form of corruption. Whenever you are going through newspaper, you might have seen that in every other day there are news how corruption happened in society. Let us understand what are the causes of corruption. Why corruption happens? Because there are people who want to make illegal things legal on the basis of bribe or commission. There are also people who want to acquire more and more wealth and consumer goods. People got educated but they have high aspiration from jobs because due to family pressure, due to societal pressure, people want to enhance their status. So they also engaged in different kind of corruption. Similarly, In India, paying dowry also one important causes of corruption, because if a family has girl child, then they say that we should accumulate more and more money so that they can be able to send their girl to a good family members. So therefore, paying dowry also one causes of corruption in India. Similarly, there are families who want to meet expenditure on technical and higher education of children so that their child get educated and they also got high paying job. So therefore, to meet expenditure on technical and higher education of children, people are also engaged in corruption. Similarly, people also want to erect modern and beautiful house so that their status get raised in the society and in their neighborhood. So therefore, they also get engaged in corruption. Similarly, to collect money for fighting election, many politicians they also get engaged in corruption so that they can have more and more money and they can win kind of election they contest. So these are the different causes of corruption. Let us understand what is poverty. As you know, in India, poverty is an important social problem, and whether it is in rural area and urban areas, people are still struggling to meet the basic minimum needs. So, what is poverty? It is a condition of an individual or household who lacks the financial resources to afford a basic minimum standard of living. Those who don't have such income are called poor. Poverty is visible both in the rural areas and in urban areas, but the case of poverty may be low or high depending on the kind of situation. What is urban poverty? Urban poverty is the result of migration of rural people to urban areas for work and wages. They live in slum areas in unhygienic conditions, and also rapid unemployment also leads to urban poverty. If you go to different slums either in Delhi or in Mumbai or in Chennai or in metro cities, you will find their situation is very much acute than that kind of rural areas. So those who are in slums, they are more poverty stricken than that those who are living in the non-slum areas. So if we compare between the people those who are living in the urban non-slum areas and also slum areas, you can find the difference is huge between urban poor those who are living in the slums and the people those who are living in the non-slum areas. If we talk about poverty rate in India, there are different commissions they set off time to time so that they can estimate the poverty in India. If we talk about in Indian situation, the Planning Commission, which was now it has been converted into Niti Aayog. So the Planning Commission determined levels of poverty in the country on the basis of consumer expenditure survey conducted by the National Sample Survey Office. You will find time to time NSSO conducted survey based on the estimation method by different task force set off in by Government of India from time to time. If we talk about the study undertaken by a task force in 1917, the poverty rate was based on expenditure for buying food worth 2004 calories in rural areas and 2100 calories in urban areas. That means though the people those who can consume the food worth 2400 calories in rural areas are not called poverty, and those who are not able to consume 2100 or calories in urban areas, they are called poor. But in 2011 data, the Suresh Tendulkar committee defined the poverty line on the basis of monthly spending on food, education, health, electricity and transport. Dear learners, as I told you, time to time national poverty lines are being estimated. So in 2004 and 5, if a person or family is not able to earn 446.7 rupees per month, they are considered as poor. Similarly, in urban areas, if a person or family are not able to earn income 578.8 rupees per month, they are also considered as poor. And the rate was revised in 2009 and 10. It was said that if a person or family is not able to earn income 672.8 rupees per month, they are considered as poor. If we talk about the number of poor in the country, 1993 and 94, there were more than half of the population were poor in the rural areas, while it is 31.8 in urban areas. Let us discuss about how the person those who are in the below poverty line has decreased throughout years. In 1993 and 94, there were more than half of the rural poor were there, while it was only 31.8 in case of urban areas. Due to various schemes and programs related to poverty eradication in the country, the number of persons those who are below poverty line has decreased to 25.7 in 2011-12 in rural areas, while it is only 13.7 in case of urban areas. Still, you can find that number of persons those who are below poverty line are more in the rural areas than the urban areas. Let us discuss different causes of poverty. We will discuss these one by one. Let us first discuss the social causes of poverty. As you know, in the Indian social structure, there are OBC and scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. If we talk about scheduled caste, they are still poor, and there are many people belonging to scheduled caste don't possess any property. So they remained poor for centuries, generation after generation. Thankful due to different reservation policies, now they are in education and they are able to improve their income and earning sources, but still we can find there are still many persons belonging to scheduled caste are in the below poverty line. If we talk about the different database, the database reveals that 60% of rural SCs in Bihar are below poverty line against only 2.2% of general group who are in the BPL in Punjab. So not only the regional variation, you can also see how the rural scheduled caste, those who are at the bottom line of caste hierarchy, and also in the rural areas, they are in the more poverty line than case of people those who are in the Punjab, which is highly rich state of the country. So from here you can able to generalize, you can able to understand how the population below poverty line is more varies in case of social groups. If we talk about rural areas, 36.8% of scheduled caste are in the below poverty line against 16.1 in case of general group populations. There is a gap of around 20% between scheduled caste in rural areas in comparison to general group of population in the overall rural setting. Similarly, there are 39.9% scheduled caste in the urban areas are in the below poverty line against 16.0 in case of other group, general group of population in the urban areas. So from here you can understand how the population below poverty line is more entrenched, the more entrenched inequalities can be visible in case of different social groups. Let us understand what are the social causes of poverty. Heavy expenditure and performance of social custom, tradition, rituals also make many persons poor. People sell their land and property to pay dowry and perform shraddhas even in during death rituals. So there are also economic causes of land, like unequal distribution of land in urban areas and rural areas. Even in rural areas, you will find the general group population has higher land holding than that of scheduled caste in the rural areas. Similarly, unemployment, which is important causes of poverty. And unemployment also varies in case of social groups from general group population to scheduled caste population. Similarly, low wages is also one important factor of poverty, because those who are low educated, they are illiterate, they are not able to get more and more wages. Even there are companies, they are not also obeying the minimum wages act of government of India. So therefore, since they are having low wages, so they are not able to spend, they are earning in food, nutrition, health and education of their children. So naturally it causes poverty. Similarly, indebtedness is also one important factor of poverty, because in India people lend money to spend on rituals, festivals, and also in different customs and rituals. So indebtedness is also very high in case of Indian society, particularly in rural society. This also leads to poverty. Political causes also responsible for poverty. There are improper policies in the past that are also responsible for poverty in our country. No doubt government has established, government has formed many schemes and programs from time to time, but it has not been implemented properly, so it has resulted in poverty. Even heavy industries have adverse influence on rural and cottage industries. Due to heavy industries, due to introduction of machine, those who are not educated, those who have low literacy, they are not able to get income, they lost their job, and so heavy industries are much more responsible for poverty both in rural and urban areas. In India, no doubt there are many agriculture produce both in the rural and tribal areas, but due to lack of proper marketing, it has resulted in poverty among agriculturists and forest dwellers both in the urban areas and rural areas. Even the jobs are also very few, even for educated youths. Even they are highly educated, but they are not able to get adequate job as per their qualification. On the other hand, there are also hesitance among the youth. So, if they are not getting job according to their qualification, they are not going for the other kind of jobs like agriculture, industry, and so so therefore, having less number of jobs and there are more educated youth, that has also caused poverty in the country. Migration is also an important causes of poverty. As you know, rural areas in India still don't have adequate infrastructure, neither in health, neither in education, neither in the case of employment. So therefore, the rural youth want to migrate to urban areas so that they can have more and more jobs, they can also get adequate education and health facilities. As a result, it has created slum areas in towns and cities. If you'll go to slums in the Delhi and metro cities, you'll find they don't have proper house and sanitation. They live in unhygienic condition. This affect their health, which ultimately causes poverty. There are also religious causes. As I told you, in India we celebrate hundreds of festivals in a year, and people spend good amount on performing these religious rites and rituals. Even they take loans at higher rate of interest from the money lenders. When loan and interest is not paid in time, they have to mortgage or sell land, ornaments, and other kind of property. And there are people, those who even don't have land, they work on low wages till the borrowed money being paid. Although slavery has been abolished, there are still many people, those who are employed for a longer duration in different in jamindars in different households, so that they can repay their loan amount in rural areas and also in the urban areas. If we talk about India, natural calamities affect Indian society every year. If you go to Kerala, or you will go to Odisha, you will go to Bihar or West Bengal, you will find every year we have natural calamities like cyclone, flood, drought, earthquake, and epidemic that causes poverty. As a result of such natural causes, income of the people of the area is reduced to such an extent that they become unable to feed and clothe themselves, forget about spending their earning on education, health of their child and their family members. We can take a case study of Odisha, where there are 96 floods and cyclone happen in 130 years of Odisha history. So if every year there is a cyclone, there are floods, so how the people can earn and they can spend their earning on education and health of the children, and they can have much productivity. If you see the picture, you'll find in 1999 there is super cyclone which has devastated the state completely, and there are many households, they lost their family and also they lost their land and property. Similarly, the situation also happens 2013, 2014, Falin happened in 2018, Titli has happened, and recently in 2021, Yas as a cyclone has also affected. So if every year cyclone is affecting the Odisha society, so how they can improve their earning and how they can spend their earning on education and health of children, which might have raised their productivity and they might have come out of the poverty. So cyclone and different kind of natural calamities affect the poverty, and this is the main reason of poverty in different parts of the country, whether it is Gujarat, Bihar, or Odisha or West Bengal. There are also physical causes which are also responsible for poverty. The physical causes like disease, illness, accident, suicide, death of earning members, mental illness, alcoholism, and drug addiction causes poverty in our society. And recently you might have seen that due to COVID-19, there are many families, they have lost their earning members, even the family is lost two earning members, both father and mothers, and there are only child who are there in the family. So these kind of physical causes also affect poverty, where no one is there to earn livelihood or income so that the family runs due to COVID-19. So these are the personal causes of poverty, but they ultimately affect family and society from the viewpoint of poverty. Similarly, illiteracy also responsible for poverty in our country. Due to illiteracy, people are not able to take adequate benefit from the government schemes and programs. Since they are not educated, so they are not able to go to government offices, they are not able to fill up the form, and due to introduction of online system, since they are not that much educated, so they are not able to follow their schemes and programs from the website, and so therefore illiteracy is also responsible for poverty in our country. Similarly, due to illiteracy, they are not able to find a job, and or this causes poverty in the both in rural areas and also in the urban areas. Similarly, if since they are not educated enough, so they are not able to spend their child to school, and also so this causes poverty. So we can say illiteracy leads to poverty, and so poverty also leads to illiteracy, because since they don't have adequate income, so they are not able to send their child to school, and they are not able to provide proper health and nutrition facilities to their child, and indirectly or directly it has led to poverty. So we can say illiteracy also leads to poverty. Let us discuss how population explosion leads to poverty. As you know, division of paternal property leading to landlessness, unemployment, and poverty. As you know, if in a family there are 4 family members and they have the less property, and when they go to different phases of life, so the paternal property also get divided between different brothers in a family, and so since they have the less land, so due to less land they are not able to have adequate productivity from their land, and this leads to poverty. Similarly, if there are large member in a family, the family is not able to send every child to school, and once they are not highly educated, so they are not able to get adequate employment in different private and government sectors. So unemployment also increases, and unemployment leads to poverty. Patriarchy also leads to poverty in Indian society. What is patriarchy? Patriarchy means the dominance of male member in the society, that is called patriarchy. As you know, India is a patriarchal society. It is entrenched in the society scope of employment. So women has the limited opportunity in employment and education. Families take pride when female members withdraw from work, demonstrating that male members can provide a comfortable life for the family. You might have seen the newspaper that females are being withdrawn from their job due to pressure from the family members, demonstrating that male members can provide a comfortable life for the family. But now the situation has been changing slowly and slowly due to different rules and regulation, also due to the mindset of family members in today's in the present day society. So due to patriarchal mindset, you can find that only 13% of farmland is owned by women. The figure is even lower when it comes to lower caste Dalit women who are single. Similarly, the data also reveals that about 12% of India's female population is classified as single, including women who are widowed, divorced, separating, and older unmarried women, according to 2011 census. The data points out that about 41% of households headed by women in India don't own land and make a living through casual manual laborer. If we talk about India's female labor force participation rate, it fell to its lowest level since independence. The female labor force participation rate peaked at 33% in 1972 to 73 and showed a decline till 1990-2000, where it was 26%, at 17.5% in 2017 and 18. If we talk about the domestic work, women in India currently spend up to 352 minutes per day on domestic work, which is 577% more than men. So since women are spending more and more time on the domestic work, so they are not able to participate in the workforce, and they are not able to earn more and more income, which has been a gainful for the country. So if we talk about the comparison between the developed country and Indian society, they are more developed because their women are able to participate more actively in the workforce than Indian society. So it gives a feeling that more and more participation in the workforce will have the higher earning and higher income and for the country, and then the country will be progressed in a better manner. So dear learners, in this session we discuss about the different social problems of India, in which we discuss about how corruption and poverty is a major social problems of India. Hope you have enjoyed the session. If you have any kind of doubt, you can send a email to us at aosoci@nios.ac.in. Thank you.